Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something the world doesn't want you to hear. The fastest way to fall behind is to keep watching everybody else. We're living in a generation addicted to scrolling, comparing, and competing. We measure our value against highlight reels. We chase trends like they're truth. And all the while, we're drifting further and further away from who we were actually created to be. See, here's the secret they never taught you in school. Your breakthrough doesn't come from looking out the window. It comes from looking in the mirror. The secret to success, and I'm talking real, sustainable, undeniable success, is not found in beating someone else. It's found in becoming the version of you that scares your excuses. Too many people are obsessed with who's ahead, who's got more followers, who's driving what, who's launching what, who's doing the thing you want to do, but doing it first. Let me give you a truth that'll set you free. God did not give your assignment to them. He gave it to you. Your vision is yours. Your calling is custom. So why are you copying someone else's strategy to fulfill a destiny they can't even see? You can't master anything outside of you until you've mastered what's inside of you. The battle isn't out there, it's in here. It's not about them, it's about you. Your discipline, your decisions, your mindset, your habits. Every day you wake up, you are either building your purpose or burying it, brick by brick, thought by thought, choice by choice. Listen, motivation is cute, but motivation won't pay your bills. Motivation won't build your legacy. You know what will? Discipline. You think successful people are always inspired? No, they're anchored. Anchored in a commitment to do the hard thing even when it's not the fun thing. They stopped waiting to feel like it and they just decided. That's the power of focusing on you. Because once you stop outsourcing your power, you start operating in it. And let me tell you something else. Your income will never outgrow your identity. You can learn the strategies, you can download the templates, you can rehearse the pitch, but if your inner world is small, your results will be too. The market pays you according to your value, but you determine that value by who you become. Focus on becoming more, and you'll attract more. Money, opportunity, peace, and purpose. You were not created to compete. You were created to create. Competing keeps you chasing. Creating keeps you leading. When you stop asking, how can I do what they're doing, and you start asking, what has never been done that I can bring into existence, that's when you shift from participant to pioneer. But here's the part nobody tells you. Success is not external, it's internal. The money, the followers, the brand, the business, the body, all of that is just a reflection of what's happening in the invisible space between your ears. Change that, and you change everything. So today, I'm not asking you to hustle harder. I'm not asking you to outwork everybody. I'm asking you to outfocus everybody. Pull your energy back from watching, from comparing, from wishing, and put it into building, becoming, and believing. The truth is this. The moment you stop looking at them and start focusing on you is the moment everything starts changing. Success isn't out there. It's already in you, but only if you choose to focus. Comparison is the thief of acceleration because it tricks you into slowing down for a race you were never meant to run. Every time you look at someone else's journey and try to measure your progress against theirs, you're actually hitting the brakes on your own growth. You pause to peek at their path, and in that moment, you lose momentum on yours. You start questioning your pace, your purpose, your process, and before you know it, you're doubting the very thing that made you unique in the first place. Here's the danger. Comparison doesn't just steal your joy, it steals your drive. It makes you feel like you're behind, when in reality, you're just in a different lane. It convinces you to change direction, not because you're called to pivot, but because you're panicking. You trade authenticity for imitation. You exchange purpose for performance. And now you're chasing someone else's version of success, hoping it fills a gap that only your real calling can touch. The truth is, acceleration comes from clarity. And you can't have clarity while your eyes are locked on someone else. You accelerate when you get laser focused on your own vision. You speed up when you cut the distractions and double down on your assignment. Progress isn't about catching up. It's about locking in. When you compare, you compromise your speed. But when you focus, you multiply it. So the next time you're tempted to look left or right, remind yourself you're not behind, you're being refined. Stay in your lane and watch how fast you move when you're no longer detoured by doubt disguised as comparison. God didn't give your assignment to them. He gave it to you, and he did it on purpose. That means your vision, your gifts, your experiences, even your struggles are uniquely wired for the purpose planted inside you. And when you spend your time wishing you had someone else's platform, someone else's talent, someone else's influence, you're essentially telling God he made a mistake with yours. See, we live in a copy and paste culture where it feels safer to follow someone else's blueprint than to trust the one written on your heart. But the truth is, the world doesn't need another version of them. It's waiting on the full expression of you. You don't need their voice, their connections, their story. You need to own your assignment and walk it out like it was made for you, because it was. When you're trying to take on someone else's calling, you might look successful on the outside, but you'll feel empty on the inside. You'll be out of alignment, out of rhythm, out of peace, because you're carrying a weight that wasn't shaped for your shoulders. That's why comparison is exhausting. That's why imposter syndrome creeps in. Because deep down, you know the role you're playing doesn't match the assignment you were given. And here's the crazy part. The very thing you're trying to avoid, being different, is the exact thing that sets you apart. Your assignment has impact that theirs can't touch. Your story will speak to people their story won't reach. So why silence your voice just to echo theirs? You've got to trust the assignment, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it feels slow, even when nobody else understands it, because if he gave it to you, he already equipped you to fulfill it. The timing, the resources, the room, the results, they're coming, but they don't show up until you do. So stop looking over the fence and start digging in your own ground. That's where your harvest is. Not in their field, not in their lane, not in their spotlight. Your power, your influence, your breakthrough, it's all waiting on you to pick up the assignment you were born to carry. Discipline is louder than motivation, because motivation whispers when it's easy, but discipline shouts when it's hard. Motivation shows up when the sun is shining, when you're inspired, when the music is playing and the mood is right. But discipline shows up when you don't feel like it, when nobody's clapping, when it's dark, cold, and uncomfortable. Discipline is what keeps you moving when every excuse tells you to stop. See, motivation is emotional. It's a spark, a push, a wave of energy, but like every emotion, it comes and goes. If you build your habits around motivation, you'll only work when you feel good. And that means your success will be inconsistent. But if you build your habits around discipline, now you're building on something solid. Discipline is a decision, not a feeling. It's a contract you sign with your future. And it doesn't get rewritten just because today got difficult. The reason most people never reach their next level isn't because they lack potential, it's because they keep waiting to feel like it. But your purpose doesn't care how you feel. Your dreams are not negotiating with your mood. You don't need to be in the right headspace. You need to make the right choice. And that choice, over and over again, is discipline. Discipline is what separates those who want from those who have. Everybody wants success, but few are willing to do the boring, unglamorous, repetitive work that leads to mastery. Discipline isn't sexy, but it's effective. It's waking up early, putting in reps, studying, refining, adjusting, staying late, showing up again and again, long after the hype fades. The truth is, the most dangerous thing you can do is depend on being motivated. Because when motivation runs out, and it will, you'll either quit or level up. And discipline is what determines the difference. Discipline is the voice that says, we do this because we said we would. It's the inner coach that doesn't let you negotiate with laziness. It's the quiet force behind every champion, every leader, every person who refused to settle. So if you really want the life you say you do, stop chasing feelings and start mastering focus. Get addicted to discipline, not dopamine. Because at the end of the day, it's not how loud your motivation screams that matters. It's how consistently your discipline speaks. Identity before income means the level of money you earn will rarely exceed the level of belief you carry about who you are. The truth is, the marketplace doesn't just pay you for your skills. It pays you for your confidence, your clarity, your certainty in who you are and what you bring to the table. If your self-position is small, your results will shrink to match it. You can learn every strategy in the book, take every course, network with the right people. But if deep down, you still see yourself as average, overlooked, or unworthy, your income will reflect that internal ceiling. This is why so many people plateau. They fix the outside, new business cards, better branding, sharper copy, but they never do the internal work. And what happens? They keep hitting the same invisible wall. Because income doesn't change identity. Identity changes income. You don't get wealthy and then become a person of value. You become a person of value and the wealth follows. You don't build confidence from the money. You build money from the confidence you attract at the level of who you are. If you see yourself as broke, stuck, or second best, you'll unconsciously make decisions that align with that identity. You'll self-sabotage. You'll undercharge. You'll hesitate on opportunities. You'll play small, not because you're not capable, but because your identity hasn't upgraded yet. Your bank account is trying to rise, but your belief system keeps pulling it back down. But the moment you shift your identity, the moment you decide to see yourself as someone who deserves overflow, who can create impact, who moves with authority and vision, everything changes. You start making different decisions. You move different. You speak different. And guess what? The world responds to that energy. Clients feel it. Rooms respect it. Opportunities are drawn to it. So don't just chase income, build identity. Every time you invest in your mindset, in your confidence, in your character, you're making deposits that pay out in every area of your life. Because income is not just about what you do, it's about who you are when you do it. And when you step into the fullness of that identity, the income doesn't have a choice. It has to catch up. Stop competing. Start creating. Because you were never designed to just be better than others. You were designed to be different. Competing locks you into a limited game. It says there's only so much success to go around, and you've got to fight for your slice. But creating taps into abundance. It means you don't need their spot, their idea, or their win, because you're building something they can't duplicate. When you compete, your energy goes outward. You're watching what others are doing, measuring yourself against their timeline, their results, their applause. You start reacting instead of leading. You move based on what they're doing instead of what you're called to do. And the more you compete, the more you dilute your own voice, your own vision, your own power. But when you create, you take the focus off comparison and put it back on contribution. You stop asking, how can I keep up? And start asking, what can I bring to the table that only I can bring? That's when you move into a different frequency. That's when people stop scrolling and start paying attention, not because you're louder, but because you're original. And originality can't be ignored. The people who change industries, shift culture, and lead movements don't win by outcompeting others. They win by creating what's never been seen before. They introduce new solutions. They challenge old thinking. They fill gaps no one even noticed. They don't race others to the finish line. They build their own. And here's the truth. If you're always competing, you'll always feel behind. But when you create, you feel aligned, fulfilled, purposeful. Because you're not just building something for applause. You're building something that lasts. So stop chasing trends and start trusting your originality. Stop studying the competition and start studying your calling. Because the world doesn't need another replica. It needs your creativity, your authenticity, your divine blueprint. You don't need to compete when you're creating something no one else can copy. So success is an inside job because everything you see on the outside, your results, your income, your relationships, your reputation, is just a reflection of what's going on inside of you. You don't rise because of the things you have, you rise because of the person you are. And until you win the inner battle, you'll keep repeating the same outer patterns no matter how hard you grind. We've been trained to chase success like it's something out there, a number in the bank account, a title on the business card, a follower count, a lifestyle, an achievement to post about. But the truth is, none of that sticks if your internal world is broken. You can't build a skyscraper of impact on a foundation of insecurity. You can't lead others when you can't even lead your thoughts. You can't sustain momentum if your mind is a battlefield of fear, doubt, and distraction. The most successful people you know, real success, not just flashy success, didn't get there by collecting trophies. They got there by doing the internal work, by healing, by getting clear, by developing discipline, by silencing the noise and anchoring their identity in something deeper than performance. They understood that mindset isn't a luxury, it's a requirement. Because life will test you, business will test you, people will test you. And if your confidence, your peace, your focus is built on external validation, you'll crumble under pressure. But if it's built on internal clarity, nothing can shake you. The storm might come, but you're rooted. The rejection might hit, but it doesn't define you. The delay might frustrate you, but it won't stop you. So if you want to change your life, don't just change your circumstances, change you. Upgrade your mindset. Speak life over yourself. Raise your standards. Start believing you're worthy before the evidence shows up. Because when the inner game is strong, the outer game follows. Always. Success is not about luck. It's not about talent alone. It's about becoming the kind of person who success is drawn to. And that kind of person is built from the inside out. So here's the truth, plain and simple. Everything you're looking for, success, peace, purpose, abundance, it's not hiding in someone else's lane. It's not waiting at the end of some perfect strategy or sitting in the hands of the people you keep comparing yourself to. It's already in you. But you've got to stop outsourcing your focus, your power, and your identity just to keep up with people who aren't even on your path. When you stop comparing, you start accelerating. When you honor your assignment, you start walking in real authority. When you choose discipline over feelings, when you build identity before chasing income, when you create instead of compete, and when you master the internal instead of chasing the external, that's when things shift. That's when the results change. That's when success stops being this distant concept and becomes your reality. So today, make the decision to focus on you, not out of selfishness, but out of alignment. Because when you master you, you stop being reactive and start being responsible for the life you're building. The moment you stop watching, waiting, and wondering and start becoming, creating, and believing is the moment everything changes. The secret isn't somewhere out there. The secret is you. Focus on yourself and watch the world make room for what you were born to bring.